You know what? It's the vulnerability for me. It's the ability to open up and share your true emotions for me. Like I'm rooting for them. Like, honestly. What's up? How you doing, Ray of Sunshines? I am your girl, Talisa Ray, lifestyle coach. We are reviewing Put a Ring on It, season number 2, episode number 2, flipping the script. And listen, to be honest, it is hard to review this show for me because Dr. Nicole covers all the bases, but I'm still here. I'm gonna still give my opinion. She gives great advice, and I'm all like, she don't need my help. Honey, she is getting them people all the way together. So, yeah, we're going to just piggyback off of some of the stuff she say. When the episode opens up, we pick up where we left off, and it was with Darian, and the question was, do you want to go on another date with Kai, or do you want to go with someone new? Honey, we knew the answer was that he was going to want to go on a date with Kai. I mean, the way he was just feeling her and her body and her energy and the way they were flirting and the way the date had gone, you and I both knew that he was going to say yes. They did not have to wait until episode 2 to tell us that. Alexia says, you know what? Multiple dates equals relationships. What y'all think about that? The more dates that he goes on with Kai, the more relationship and a bond that they're gonna grow. And is she feeling threatened? Absolutely, she's feeling threatened. On top of all of the borderline disrespectful stuff that he said, add in that he wants to see her again, go on an additional date. Yeah, she's feeling a little insecure. You know, and Dr. Nicole is like, can you give him space to go through the process, to experience the process? And her response was a normal response. He can have all the space he needs. Dr. Nicole was like, that is not an appropriate response, because that is more of a defense mechanism and versus allowing him to experience the process and grow and learn, and for you guys to determine if you want to move forward because you're at an impasse, or should you go your separate ways. So this week it's the ladies' turns, honey, and all the fellas say that they're not ready for this except for Darian. You know, he's all like, I want her to experience what I experienced. Okay, sir. So the first person we see going on a date, and Dr. Nicole is available for home visits this week. And you know, whenever they do home visits, we get real juicy. We get to the nitty gritty. Jessica and Eric first. Jessica comes down the stairs, honey, with all kinds of fineness, looking like all kinds of hotness, and that she's ready to go on a date. Look at me with the body. Look at me. I'm looking fly. Like, I like her little outfit. I mean, you know, that's the kind of stuff she wore to get her boo Eric, ain't it? I mean, come on, let's keep it a band. She kind of says, you got some advice for me, boo? And he's all like, just say no. Say no to drink, say no to this, say no to that, say no to that. So pretty much don't experience the date. Nevertheless, he says that he has trust issues with her because she's a little flirtatious. So what it sounds like is y'all both have trust issues because both of y'all feel like one or the other is going to step out. For whatever reason, possibly because they're a flirt, possibly because of your past, you know, and you might, you know, your past is why she's thinking that you can't be trusted, and you're probably thinking she can't be trusted because, you know, spiteful, vindictive, you know, some get back is probably what's on your mind. But some people are just innately flirtatious. I'm not innately flirtatious until I have a couple drinks, and then I'm all kinds of flirty. Well, honey, what did he say his name was? Mr. Still Your Girl, Randon, shows up. And I mean, he's cute. I mean, these fellas, especially this one and one other one, way too cocky for me, way too sure of themselves. Feels like, you know, I'm used to dating people who got a woman already, because I still, you know, I take they women. Sir, you're proud of that? Can you get somebody on your own married? Goes to the door, honey. Eric is not having it. I guess he's a little intimidated because homeboy do got a body, and like I said, he is easy on the eyes. I mean, he's attractive. I mean, you know, he's good looking. I mean, he ain't fine is what I'm trying to say. Closes the door, you know, and part of it probably was a play up, but part of it was really how he was feeling. It was low-key a sign of jealousy, sign of insecurities, and jealousy. I said jealousy and disrespect. Because you know what it is. You know what you came for. Then we see him in his confessional and he says, I don't know if it's a confessional. I always forget what they call this. Artika from August Love Story has the perfect, calls it the correct name, and I never get it right, but y'all know what I'm talking about. When we talking to them by themselves and they giving a little what they feel, he says for him cheating is a deal breaker. Listen, so if cheating's a deal breaker for you, why wouldn't cheating be a deal breaker for her? You remember, because you had all that infidelity at the beginning of their relationship? Double standard. Sounds like you got a little bit of an issue that you need to work on. Figure it out, because you cannot have a double standard and say you can cheat but she can't. I don't care how long ago it was. Well, Jessica shares that he's her type. The lead got her a margarita. The margarita was waiting for her. In the middle of the you know, like they're having a conversation and he deciphers that, you know, Eric isn't the one that wants to be married, but also she shares that she doesn't trust him. So they got a whole ass relationship without one of the major foundations of trust. Like, how are you going to build if you don't trust me? If you don't believe what I'm telling you and how I move? What are we doing? What are we doing and why? But baby, he say something that had all our alarms going off. Ring the alarm. I can't think of the song, the words to the song that Beyonce sings. But he's 32 and he's never been in a relationship. He's never had a girlfriend. He's dated or whatever, but he's never had a girlfriend at 32. Like someone he liked. Someone he might have been serious about. Someone he was dating consistently for a length of time that he would consider a girlfriend. For me, that's a red flag. At 32, you should have at least had one serious girlfriend. I ain't gonna say you should have had a flock of them, but you should have one. But I also tell, you know, I also used to tell my oldest son, listen, don't be all serious about these hoes. Date and be honest if that's what you're doing. Don't get yourself caught up so early. But you know, you can't tell kids nothing. They don't know experience life. So, you know, here we go weighing that option, right? Here we go. Do you just date and have a good time and not have the experience of a girlfriend? Or do you have a girlfriend and be locked in too early? Anyway, then we go on over to Alexia and Darian's house. And, you know, listen, she straight up is like, I hope my date has no clue about who you are. I don't want him asking for no autographs. Alexia, I didn't know who he was. I had to Google. My friends that I talked to, they had to Google. I ain't asked nobody here. Did y'all have to Google? I don't remember y'all making mention of not y'all had to Google and you knew who Phil Mob was. You know, he ain't nothing but a thug. You know that song that I tried to sing last week. So what? But the only part I know is Sierra's. Did y'all know who he was pre this? Would you have recognized him on the street? Let me know down below in the comments, because I don't know if it's that serious. And he all like, I give autographs for a fee. Well, when her date walks up, honey, Chris is an attractive man. Honey, he's got a body for the gods. Yes, he does. Yes, and beard gang, okay? Puts his little mask on. I look at her and I go, okay, she is like a girly little tomboy, but she's cute. I wanted to say I wish she would have leveled up just a little bit, but what she had on was cute and appropriate for the batting cage date that they had. I'm gonna finish out Alexia before we start on LaRonda and Sean. You know, she was like, it's weird going on a date and being in a relationship at the same time. There's a lot of people that do that. There's a lot of people that already do that. There is, and they don't feel no kind of way because they have clear understandings and guidelines and boundaries and expectations and a whole lot of shit that they, you know, deal with and work through when they do that. Nevertheless, that's not what this is about. She shares her history with Darian Right, his name? His name is Darian. Yeah, Darian, because I want to be like Darian, but it's Darian, that it's been 14 years on and off that he's been the relationship that she's been in, that she played overseas. And so he asks her, so what do you like to do? And as she begins to say, I like to go out, but he doesn't like it. He kind of like cuts her off in the middle and was like, you know what? I really want to know what you like to do, right? Meaning, like, what do you do? What do you like to do outside of him? As if she was saying, you know, that they needed to do it together. Which kind of was she? Like, that she would want to do those things. But what do you like separate and individually from your spouse? Because we are two individuals that come together as one. And so I should be able to know what I like that does not involve you as my spouse. I have a whole ass identity outside of you, and yes, as we become a unit, there are things that we pick up, that we share, that the interest, but I still have things that I enjoy by myself, and you should be able to do those things by yourself, have quality time with yourself. I'm just saying it's important, and it's gonna keep your relationship happy and healthy and strong when you can detach and go do the things you like without your spouse at your hip. I'm just talking from experience because my husband was with me all the time and that shit got on my nerves. The end. She shares with him, you know, I know who I am and I know what I like. I know me is what she says. She asks him, why is he single? And he says, you know what, I'm single because I want to make sure things are aligned before I move forward and be with somebody. I'm sure that's what Darian says too. He want to make sure things are aligned. How long do it take you, sir, to figure out how long things are going to be aligned, Chris? What does it take? How long? Is it going to take you 14 years too? That's probably some shit my smart ass mouth would have said. All right, so let's talk about LaRonda and Sean and the visit from Dr. Nicole at their house. They start off with the money conversation, the finance conversation, because what we found, of course, last week was that was what was holding him back. He wanted to be, realize his whole self, be his whole self and be able to provide for his family. And then they expound on it more when they talk about budgeting, and she likes to budget month to month, where he feels bad because his money as being in entertainment isn't as consistent as hers, and so it makes him feel inferior. Like, that's a whole ass thing, ladies. So I know that we feel like, some of us feel like, you know what, it's fine if you make less money, I love you. It's not a big deal if you make $50,000 or $500,000. That is exactly what LaRonda said. Okay, but I'm gonna be honest with you. After a while, it will matter. Okay, you love him right now. I mean, you'll love him probably forever, even if you break up and go your separate ways. But my point being is, finances are huge. And in the beginning, you're all gung-ho with like supporting and carrying the house until they get it together. But what happens if they never realize their dreams? They don't come to fruition. The things that they wanted to do and how they feel like they should care for the home never aligns with what he wants. And you're carrying everything all the time. If you're not the kind of woman that can handle that, I mean, because I'm not saying that he has to be the overarching provider, but if he's not even, you know, contributing equally, whatever y'all think is fair and equitable, it becomes an issue. I talked about it. I know a little something about it because I started off in the space where, you know what, I make more money and I can carry us. But then sometimes people become complacent. Then you're looking like, how are you going to contribute? Don't hit a roadblock that requires a little more income, a little more hustle. Don't find that roadblock, because what you're gonna find is that the road is also blocked in your relationship. For me personally, if things are not right financially, honey, everything else dries up like the Sahara Desert. There is no wanting to connect in a manner that is intimate, which also will cause a problem, because guess what? your husband or your spouse, your wife or whomever may want to step out. I'm getting beside myself because I just wanted to share that little tidbit from my own experiences. For me, it might be different for you, and that's okay. Let me know down below in the comments. He shared that, you know, growing up, his thought process and his values and belief system showed him that if you aren't contributing, you're worthless. You're not worthy. And he kind of learned it from seeing how his father navigated, came in with the money and went on by his business. He was providing, but he was not physically present. I guess they were together. I can't really figure out if the parents were together or they weren't, and the daddy was just gone all the time working and stepping out. I have not quite figured that out, and if you have, please let me know down below in the comments. He says he does not want to be like his dad. He wants to be a provider, but he also wants to cover and protect. And you know, he ends up crying and sharing that he is broken and he has a broken heart and he's trying to get over it. And I love that Dr. Nicole said to him, that's the problem with a lot of people. You're trying to get over it instead of go through it. My whole thing, and I say it to anybody who I'm talking to on the phone, a friend, a family member, a boo, it don't matter. I say feel the feelings. So in order to process it and to move forward, you have to feel what that is and where it's coming from and how you recover from it. Because just moving past it, getting over it, stop crying or whatever, the issue is still going to be there. So when you feel the feelings and you process the shit, it's a whole different story. I liked how Dr. Nicole deposited in him, right? She said something in him that he was fearfully and wonderfully made, I believe. I ain't write it down, but I also liked even more that LaRonda was very supportive of him and caring and, you know, understood. Like, she didn't look at him sideways because he was in a full-on tear out breakdown. No, no, no. He didn't do that. She didn't do that. She embraced him and consoled him, you know, as a reminder that I love you and I'm here and your issue is not mine. So now she gets ready to go on her date, honey, and she looks cool. Sean is uncomfortable before she even leaves for the date. He shares with us that he is a very sensitive man. I think we figured that out. You ain't really had to share it, but I appreciate it. Homeboy comes to the door with his peace and blessings, got a suit on. Like, I was like, when he was talking, he felt really overly confident. Like any beautiful woman would want to be with me, etc. But when he got in the door, he was definitely a lot more modest. And I'm big on, you should toot your own horn. Like, it's a line between, you know, being confident and being cocky, but y'all are aware of that already. He comes to the door, starts walking through, and he was like, hey, yo, hold on, I'll walk you through. Man, oh man, it's wild. Homeboy wild. I was like, that's funny. He's just walking through here freely. I thought that was kind of funny. So his name is Jay, and he is also a creative like her current boo. He is a singer and a songwriter. They sit at the table really quick for a chat. You know, and he's like, peace and blessings again. And, you know, what are you, somehow they get to the, I know you guys are searching for something, and what are you searching for is Sean. He was like a genuine connection, which is a good answer. I mean, I could be like, I want to be married. I could marry anybody, but what I want foremost is a genuine connection. Oh, I'm not talking about me, because I don't think I'm going to get married again. I don't think that's not in my future, unless maybe we're gonna live in different homes. I don't know. I like all the peace I have and all the closet space and not having to say where I'm going, who I'm with all the time. Like, I'm in the space, y'all. I feel like Sean has been the most honest in this process, even though we've only seen 2 episodes. But he's the most sincere, and he's saying, you know what, I'm uncomfortable. I'm nervous about the situation. I don't know. Well, they go to the wine bar, and one of the things that she likes, oh, hold on. Before I get to that, Sean says, I'm concerned that she's going to find out that it's fun again and want to do this again. So when she goes to the wine bar, they have fun. He's not only decisive, but they have fun. His vision, she shares her vision is to be married and with kids, and he said, I want kids and a family unit. Family unit doesn't necessarily mean married. It means we could all be in the same place with some kids. I mean, like, they're doing a little, I'm shocked and surprised, but not really, but she seems fun, you know, the grape toss on the first date. Like, that's something you do with somebody, at least me, that I've been dating for a while, because I don't want your nasty hands on the grapes that's gonna get thrown in my mouth. But if I've been dating you for a minute, I'm all in for a grape toss game where we tossing grapes in one another's mouths. Look, I'm actually not as stuffy as I seem. He ends up saying that he has a song and that he wrote a song for her. And I felt like, you know what, he was doing good up until this moment, because now for me, this is all about exposure. Your agent got you this. So now you just hit us with a whole little verse, a little line that you wrote about put a ring on it. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Listen. It was a nice verse. He had a nice voice. But for me, it's a no, because of the simple fact that I feel like it was for exposure purposes, not genuinely to date her. Okay? Any background noise y'all hear, y'all know I got kids and they loud. I got the oldest one in there with his music and his girlfriend, and the other one in there on the game with his headphones on. So any background noises outside of fireworks still happening, it's my family. Listen, when they pan back to Sean, honey, he is having a hard time. He's trying to do the things that would make him happy, expel some of that energy, but he cannot help himself. He ends up calling his friend on the phone. His voice starts cracking, you know, because his friend is like, listen, don't get carried away. It could be a bad date. It could be a good date, but it could also be a bad date. Like, calm down, relax a little bit. What I would say is the one thing that he could do is do some self-care, right? Like, do something that you love. Work on why you feel this way. What are the emotions that are coming? This would have been a great time for him to discover the things about him that he does not like. Like, I'm sure he didn't want to be in that bathroom throwing up and crying and carrying on over his girl going on a date when it was something that he signed up for. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it would have been a great time to focus on him and the things that he loves, or figure out what this feeling is. Like, if you find yourself in that situation because you just dating and you dating everybody, you need to figure it out and then be able to articulate how you feel to your boo, your bae, your spouse, your love interest. We back with Dr. Nicole, and she asked the ladies how their dates were. All of them said that they were great. Alexia, he was handsome. He let her express himself. Like, she didn't get cut off. It didn't feel like she was battling to be heard. And then she shared that, you know, because he said something smart ass, but then she shared that they had a long conversation that they hadn't had in a while. So Dr. Nicole was like, okay, so now you guys are trying to get understanding together, which is an absolute great thing. Maybe these dates are showing you some stuff that you need to have conversations about, and you want to hear and you want to understand. Then Jessica, she was like, we were vibing and it came up about the distrust that they both have. And Dr. Nicole asked, is this a relationship that is sustainable if you both don't trust one another? It's not. They agreed that it's not, and that's something that they have to work on if they're going to move forward in a relationship. Like, trust, huge foundation. It is like holding up the house, okay? LaRonda says that she had a great time. Told him about the song. Sean was honest and was like, it's a no for him. Like, he didn't like it. It made him sick. And Dr. Nicole said to him, okay, that's because you're flooding yourself. Meaning you are creating scenarios that don't exist in your head. You are also feeling these feelings that aren't necessarily, I mean, they're your feelings and you can feel them, but you're creating scenarios that are just feeding into that, and you're making the situation worse. And then he expresses that he doesn't want to be like his dad, which is a total breakthrough for him. For us, we saw it, and she asked him a question. Do you treat LaRonda like your father treated your mother? When the answer was no, that was a breakthrough. Because number one is you recognize already that you are not doing and creating the same patterns that your dad did. So stop comparing yourself to him. You might have the same blood, but y'all ain't the same. So then it's time to find out if they want to go on a date or not with the same person. Alexia says no, that he was fine. But she's gotten her voice back and she's really kind of figuring out what she wants. And I'm all like, but didn't you say you knew who you were just a moment ago? I'm glad you realized that you had some time to think about it and was like, okay, let me really figure out who I am. Jessica said, yeah, no, red flags. Homeboy ain't never been in love, and that's not something that I want. Like, I'm gonna be showing him, I'm gonna be the new person. Like, is that really something that I could do? LaRonda says no, but her reasoning for no is because she does not want to put Sean through what he went through before. Now, girl, you liked him. You had a good time. That's the only person that I have a problem with, and so did Dr. Nicole. You are doing yourself a disservice if you're not doing this for yourself. Yes, we want to consider our love interest, our boo, our bae, our spouse, right? We do. But for the purposes of this exercise and why you came on Put a Ring on It, do not discount your needs and desires and wants. If you like him, go out with him again. I don't know how y'all felt about that. Y'all let me know down below in the comments. I know y'all, are connected to Sean. He's, had us all crying, had them crying in the room and everything because we empaths and everything. But I mean, I think that she's doing herself a disservice. Y'all let me know down below what you thought about this episode. I want to hear from you. You know I do. I am your girl, Talisa Ray. Thank you so much for watching my review of Put a Ring on It, Season 2, Episode number 2. If it's your first time visiting my channel, definitely click that subscribe button to become a ray of sunshine. There's that notification bell. You should click it too so you're alerted of when I upload videos going forward. Give this a thumbs up because you like me and I will know that it's real. Last but not least, share it with your people because Ready to Love is ending. Put a Ring on It just started and they can join this conversation. I love you in real life and want every good thing that God has in store for you. Even if you don't know what that is for yourself, hugs and kisses and lots of love. I'll catch you on the next review.